Hello, welcome back to our channel. The manhwa we are about to recap today is about a girl who gets married secretly for her grandfather's happiness. The story begins with a girl looking at her grandfather and thinking, "Since my parents are gone, my grandfather is the only one I have. Therefore, I always try to do whatever grandfather wants." But when she accidentally found out that her grandfather was suffering from late-stage pancreatic cancer, she realized she had very little time left to fulfill his wishes. Then, as she heard her grandfather saying, "In my remaining life, I really want to be able to escort Yoon-seol to the wedding altar," she continued her thoughts. "Does grandfather want me to get married? I understand that grandfather must be worried about me. That's why he wants to see me married." Later on, as she was sitting in her class, she wondered, "I understand that grandfather must be worried about me. That's why he wants to see me married. But there's Uncle Gil-young and Aunt Sungum who will surely accompany me. Besides, am I not still too young to get married, right?" Right then, a classmate of hers arrived and asked her, "Yoon-sol, do you want to join me for lunch?" Yoon-sol grabbed his arm and dragged him out, so the boy asked her, Yoon-sol? What's wrong?" Yoon-sol replied, "Just come along." The boy further asked her, "Yoon-sol, are you annoyed because I was late for class again? Okay, next time I'll wake up earlier." Then she stopped and asked the boy, "Seo-kyun, would you marry me?" Seo-kyun got shy at first, but then cheered and replied, "Well, even though this was a very sudden proposal, how could I possibly refuse if Yoon-sol is the one proposing? But let's get married when we're 30, okay? We're still too young right now." Yoon-sol was about to say something, but Seo-kyun got a call, and the person on the call told him, "Hey Seo-kyun, where are you going? Hurry up here. There are a lot of pretty girls around. It's really great." Seo-kyun then replied, "Oh, really? Wow, there's already someone interesting on the first day. I'm going there now." Then he walked close to Yoon-sol and said to her, "Yoon-sol, how about we continue tomorrow, okay? Today I want to play first. Who knows what might happen? Ha 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 ha." Yoon-sol felt a little embarrassed and said, "Oh, never mind. You don't have to. I was just kidding." Seo-kyun then left, saying, "I knew it. You know what? My heart was pounding earlier, you know? Ha 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 ha. Okay, bye. See you tomorrow, Yoon-sol." After that, Yoon-sol thought, "Stupid. What have I done? What did I expect from someone like Seo-kyun who has never been serious?" As she was thinking, she bumped into someone and apologized, saying, "Oh no, sorry, I didn't." The person in front of her said, "Next time when you're walking, pay attention to the road, don't daydream." Yoon-sol got angry and asked him, "If you see me daydreaming, you could avoid me. Instead, you walk towards me. You're doing it on purpose, aren't you? What's so hard about saying sorry?" After saying this, she tried to walk away, but the person grabbed her arm, pulled her, and she fell on him as they both fell back on a car. Yoon-sol ended up touching her lips with the person. Yoon-sol got back, and the person said, "Don't get me wrong. I didn't mean to pull you because the car was speeding up earlier." Yoon-sol was embarrassed, so she apologized, saying, Yes, I'm sorry." Then again, she tried to leave, saying, "Let's just pretend that didn't happen earlier and today we're both just having a bad day." But the person taunted her from the back and asked her, "Ha ha ha, that's it? You won't even thank me? Don't tell me you're not going to compensate for the kiss just now?" She looked back and shouted at that person, "Huh? Compensate? Well, what kiss? Our lips just barely touched. You've never kissed before, have you?" The person heard her and replied, "What makes you think someone like me hasn't kissed before? It's actually you who looks like you've never kissed before." She got annoyed with that and shouted, "Ha! What's appealing about you? I don't even remember the incident earlier." The person stood straight and cheekily asked her, "Is that so? You didn't say thank you because you don't remember that I saved you earlier. But usually people don't easily forget their first kiss, right?" As soon as she heard that, she replied angrily, "Are you like this because I haven't thanked you yet? Okay, you're right. You're the 108th first kiss that I won't remember. And thank you. Satisfied?" Then she finally walked away saying, "You perverted guy. Don't even talk to me even if you see me again." Then, in the class, as Yoon-sol was talking to a friend of hers, Seo-kyun intervened and asked them, "Wow, you guys should come along. The places Soojin picks are always fun. Plus, Soojin often treats us. We're lucky to have a generous friend like Soojin. Nah, haha." Soojin heard that and said, "Ha ha ha, Seo-kyun can be like that. Since you're always able to lighten the mood, I feel like a party when you're around. If you're not there, it becomes boring. At that moment, the professor walked inside with a person with him. The professor announced to the class, "Today we have a guest lecturer who will teach the entrepreneurship course for the next semester." Then he turned to Kang and said, "Please introduce yourself, Mr. Kang." Kang replied, "All right, thank you," and introduced himself to the class, saying, "Good morning, let me introduce myself. I'm Kang Jun-young." Yoon-sol noticed who he was and thought, Just a moment. If I'm not mistaken, he's the annoying person from yesterday." After that, the professor told Kang Jun-young to start his class and left. Yoon-sol heard her classmates saying, "With a handsome professor like this, I'm sure to always attend class. Ha 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 ha. Wow, we're so lucky." So she thought, being handsome is useless if you're annoying. Why do I remember that part? Yoon-sol was biting her book, lost in thought, when her friend asked her, "Yoon-sol, what's wrong with you?" Mr. Kang saw her as well and asked, "You, yes, you. Who's holding the book? What's your name?" Yoon-seol thought, "I'm nervous." Then she replied, "I'm Choi Yoon-seol, sir." Mr. Kang taunted her, saying, "Miss Choi? I just learned that biting a book can help understand its contents." Then he asked her, "Now please explain page 108. Oh, sorry. I meant page 10.8. Go ahead, Miss Choi. What do you know from page 10.8? Yoon-seol didn't say anything and felt shy. Later, after the class ended, Soo-jin approached Jun-young and said, "I was surprised to see Mr. Jun-young enter the class earlier." Then she asked him, "Why didn't you tell me earlier that you would be teaching here?" "Ah, let's have coffee after this. There's a nice cafe nearby." Jun-young denied her, saying, "No need. I have something to take care of after this. Also, it's not appropriate for a professor and a student to have coffee together." Soo-jin agreed and said, "Oh, right, ha ha ha." After Jun-young left, Soo-jin's classmates asked her, "Oh, Soo-jin knows Mr. Kang, huh?" Soo-jin told them, "Yes, our families know each other. I also just found out that Kang Jun-young, Mr. Kang, became a guest lecturer here. Ha ha ha. Sorry, I usually call him Kang Jun-young." The classmates were amazed and said, "Wow, so you two are already that close? I'm jealous." Soo-jin then told the classmate, "Shh, don't make it a big deal, okay? I'm not comfortable with others knowing." Yoon-sol's friend, Kyung-eun, heard all that and asked her, "Isn't she the one who's making a big deal out of it?" Then she asked Yoon-sol, "Yoon-sol, I'm craving to eat jampong. Let's eat first, shall we?" Yoon-sol apologized and said, "Sorry, Kyung-eun, I'm just gonna go straight home. I'm feeling unwell." Kyung-eun got worried and asked, But you're okay, right?" Yoon-sol replied, "It's okay. I just need to rest. I'm just a little tired, that's all." After that, she ran towards Jun-young and asked him, "Mr. Kang, can we talk for a moment?" Kang stopped, and she added, "I'm sorry our first meeting didn't go well, but can you not bring our issue into class?" Kang heard that and asked her, "Me? Don't you remember me? I never bring personal issues into my class. I just act like a professor who advises his students. Don't be arrogant." Later that night, Yoon-sol received a call from her grandfather. He asked her, "Yoon-sol, how are you?" She replied, "Grandfather, I'm good." Then she asked back, "Grandfather, are you also well?" Her grandfather replied, "Grandfather is also well. Don't worry. This Saturday, Grandfather will go to Seoul." Yoon-sol asked, "Really?" He added, "Grandfather is going to meet the son of his friend. Grandfather already considers him like a nephew. Maybe you can come too, Yoon-seol?" Yoon-seol replied, "Of course I can. Luckily, I don't have any plans." Her grandfather agreed and said, "Great, Grandpa will pick you up later." Then she hung up the call, saying, "Until then, Grandpa." The next day, Yoon-sol's grandfather met Kang Tae-jin outside his house. He said, "The company owner should not need to welcome me directly at the front gate. You're behaving improperly. Ha. Ha ha." Tae-jin replied, "Welcome. I'm not coming out to meet you, but to see this young lady quickly." The old man then introduced Yoon-sol to the Kang family, saying, "Yoon-sol, they are the children of grandfather's friend, Kang Dong-woo. They were also friends with your late parents, Kang Tae-jin and Hye-suk. Mr. Kang Tae-jin is the owner of TJ Corp. You must know TJ Corp, right? Yeon-sol replied, "Of course." Then she introduced herself to Kang Tae-jin and Hye-suk, saying, "Nice to meet you. I'm Choi Yoon-sol." Tae-jin replied, "Yes, nice to meet you too. It's great to see you like this. You've grown into a beautiful person." Hye-suk invited the old man and Yoon-seol inside the house, saying, "Ah, come in, please." While walking inside the house, Tae-jin asked the old man, "How are you? I'm sorry that you came all the way here. I could have gone to your place instead." The old man replied, "I'm well as an old man can be. Ha ha ha. It's okay. I just wanted to see how my friend's child and family are doing." Tae-jin then told Yoon-seol, "Yoon-seol, your grandfather has contributed greatly to our family. Without him, TJ Corp wouldn't be where it is today." The old man stopped him and said, "Don't say that. I'm just helping my relative. If I were in the same situation, I'm sure anyone would do the same." After that, as they were sitting inside the room, Tae-jin apologized to Yoon-seol, saying, "We apologize for never meeting you since your parents passed away. I'm glad that your grandfather could raise you so well." Hye-suk intervened and said to Tae-jin, "Tae-jin, you're ruining this happy moment. Look, Yoon-seol is sad." She then turned to Yoon-seol and said, "I'm sorry, Yoon-seol." Yoon-seol, startled, replied, "It's okay." Tae-jin then told Yoon-seol, "If that's the case, from now on, we should meet often. If you need anything, just contact Uncle directly. If you're willing, you can be my child from now on. I'll give you a cute younger sibling and an older brother too, ha ha ha." Hye-suk laughed at that and added, "Ha ha ha, Mr. Choi, you should be careful. Did you see that earlier? He always wants a daughter, always whining because he only has sons." As they were talking, Tae-jin's second son arrived. He introduced him to the old man and Yoon-seol, saying, "Oh, this is our second child, Jun-seo. Say hello." Jun-seo stepped close and said, "Nice to meet you. I'm Kang Jun-seo." The old man saw him and added, "Wow, this is the first time I've met your second child. He looks so much like you, Tae-jin. Last time we met, Jun-seo wasn't around yet. Wow, I feel like I'm getting older." Right then, their first child arrived as well, so Hye-suk said, "Oh, that's my first child." Yoon-seol looked at him, and it was Jun-young. She was shocked. Soon after, when they were alone, Jun-young said to her, "I didn't expect we would meet again. It seems like this is indeed fate." Yoon-seol hesitated and said, "Yeah, you're right. As they say, the world is small, huh?" Ha 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 ha. Then she asked him, how about we start over? I thank you for saving me, and I apologize too." Jun-young stepped forward towards the garden while asking, "You said you didn't remember back then, didn't you? Are you now remembering that we—" Yoon-seol stopped him and said, "No need to mention details." "Yes, I remember everything. I was the one who made a mistake back then, sir." "Hey, mister," Jun-young then told her, "Apart from in class, just call me Jun-young, and let's talk more casually." She said, "But you're older by several years, and you're also my senior. You have more experience." Jun-young smiled and asked her, "Experience? Oh, you mean the first kiss experience? I've only felt it once, not comparable to you who have kissed 108 times. Isn't that right, Yoon-seol?" Yoon-seol, annoyed, shouted at him angrily, "Hey, Jun-young, you're really annoying. I'm like this only because of my grandfather and your parents. Just be careful if you call me in class. We don't know each other in class." Jun-young then walked close to her and told her, "This is what I've been waiting for. No need to pretend to be nice. It's not a good fit." After this, when Yoon-seol was in class with Kyung-un murmured to her, "Yoon-seol, it seems like Mr. Kang Jun-young has feelings for you." Yoon-seol taunted her, saying, "Huh? Feelings of anger? Yes." Kyung-un then added, "Yeah, for example, when you were a little late to class earlier, you immediately became a target. Even though Seo-kyun was also late, nothing happened to him." Yoon-seol, annoyed by her, told her, "All right, Kyung-un, let's not make a big deal out of it." Soo-jin, overhearing all this, intervened and said, "It seems unlikely. As far as I know, Mr. Jun-young likes women who are smart and elegant." "Oh, it's not like you're not elegant, Yoon-seol. But I know the standards that Mr. Jun-young likes." Yoon-seol replied to her, "No problem. He's also not my type." "Well, even though I'm currently looking for a potential husband, Mr. Kang Jun-young will never be a choice." Soo-jin then asked her, Yes, there must be many competitors too, right? And then she left saying, well, I need to go now. See you tomorrow. Kyung-un worriedly asked Yoon Seol, Yoon Seol, are you looking for a potential husband? You're not just saying that, are you? Do you want to get married? Yoon Seol told her everything about her grandfather, so Kyung-un was shocked and asked Yoon Seol, huh? Are you serious? Yoon Seol replied, yes, I am serious. Since yesterday, I've been trying to find someone on dating apps. I even asked Seo-kyun. Kyung-un was even more shocked and asked her, what, joking? Seo-kyun? Then why is he embarrassed? Yoon Seol replied, he didn't refuse though. But he just thought I was joking. Kyung-un said, you can't just marry anyone. You have to find someone who is established and mature. Oh, you should go on a blind date. I will contact my aunt who runs a matchmaking agency. They don't just pair up anyone. I'll ask for this Saturday, okay? Later on Saturday, at the K Hotel, we see Yoon Seol sitting in the lobby and texting Kyung-un. Kyung-un, I'm already in the lobby of Hotel K. What should I do? Right then, she was approached by a man who asked her, Miss Choi Yoon Seol. She replied, yes, and thought, here I realize finding the right man seems to be not easy. The person apologized to her, saying, sorry for being a bit late. Then he awkwardly asked her, you must be impressed with my handsomeness, right? Later, on the next Saturday, she went on another blind date. As she was about to put cake on that new person's plate, he stopped her and told her, don't. Sugar only makes me fat. Yoon-seol then asked him, oh, is that so? But it's okay occasionally, right? The person replied, well, but you know that one bite of cake contains sugar? This date failed as well. Again, on the next Saturday, we saw her with another person. The person said, oh, you're still level 3. It's okay. After marriage, you can still continue, right? Sorry, I jumped straight to marriage. Yoon-seol replied, oh, it's okay. I'm not really serious, you know. She spilled tea by mistake and apologized. Oh, sorry. My bad. The person stood up, and Yoon-seol asked him, sorry, can you help clean up? The person gave her a napkin, saying, are you okay? Use this first. Okay. She grabbed it, thanked the person, and thought, is there hope for this blind date? Right at this moment, on the other side of the lobby of Hotel K, Jun-young was sitting at a table and talking to his mother on the phone, saying, next time, Mom, please don't make promises without discussing with me first. His mom replied, I'm not the one who made the promises. She is your mom's friend who wants to introduce her child to you because she saw your company's performance. A girl arrived there and asked Jun-young his name. His mother continued her words on the call. Let's just get to know her first. You know, business can't run on merely profit and efficiency. Their family is strong in the political and business world. Think carefully, dear. You understand, right? Then he hung up the call and asked the girl, your face seems familiar. Have we met before? The girl replied, oh yes, at Prince Ivan's birthday party a few years ago. Then she asked him, I heard from my mom that you have your own company in the hotel and resort industry, right? Jun-young replied, well, yes, I just don't want to rely too much on my family. She heard him and said, wow, that's great. Oh, if only last year at Prince Ivan's party we had a serious chat. I'm sure Prince Ivan could have helped your company a lot. Jun-young ignored her and stood up saying, nice to meet you today. Unfortunately, I still have work. Sorry. The girl then said, it seems like I came at the wrong time, so I'll leave first. And after saying that, she left. On the other side, the person who was with Yoon-seol asked her, do you only live with your grandparents? She replied, yes, ever since my parents passed away, I've been raised. The person further asked her, grandfather works in politics, economics, or even as a property millionaire? Yoon-seol replied, maybe. All I know is my grandfather raised me without ever being in need. The person asked her, huh? Maybe? Then he said, you know, I at least spend 30 million to meet someone on my level. Yoon-seol got shocked and had no clue what he was talking about, so she asked him, what 30 million? The person grabbed her arm and asked her, you don't know? How could you join this blind date, huh? Don't lie. I know all about people like you, lower class seeking wealthy men. Maybe I'll report you to the police, or you follow me to the room, huh? Yoon-seol shouted at him in reply, ha! You think I'm a cheap woman? Just report me to the police. I'm not afraid. The person then said, you want money, right? If you can satisfy me, I can help you get your money quickly. As he said that, Jun-young arrived there and saved Yoon-seol from him. Then he grabbed Yoon-seol's arm and took her to the other side. Yoon-seol thanked him, saying, "Thank you. I wouldn't know what would happen if you weren't there earlier." She felt pain on her wrist, so she told him, "Hey, it seems you can let go of my hand now, Jun-young." Jun-young let go of her hand and asked her, "You came here for a blind date?" She replied, "Whatever it is, it's none of your business." Jun-young then said, "That outfit, the dressing like that, and the guy before. Anyone can recognize you at first glance, except if what the man from earlier said is true." Yoon-seol replied, "No, my grandfather is ill. I just want to fulfill his final request. Coincidentally, my friend's aunt owns a matchmaking agency, so..." Jun-young then asked her, "I thought marriage and love were the most dreamed of things for women. Isn't it okay if you join a blind date like this?" She replied, "It's not easy. But after meeting some men, I realized that it's no longer a big issue for me. I don't need love now. Grandfather is the most important. I just need the status of a wife. I thought the man earlier was a good person. If he's good, and if he proposes marriage now, grandfather definitely won't refuse." After telling him all this, she looked at his face and thought, "Oh, I ended up telling Jun-young. That look, he must think I'm weird." Jun-young then said to her, "Choi Yoon-seol, just marry me." Yoon-seol got shocked and asked herself, "What? Did I hear wrong?" Then she said, "You must be joking, Jun-young." Jun-young then asked her, "Didn't you say earlier that you wouldn't refuse if someone asked you to marry?" Yoon-seol replied, "Yes, that's true. But why does it have to be you?" Jun-young then said, "Because we meet each other's criteria. This is a solution for both of us. Our families already know each other. Grandfather will definitely be very happy and peaceful if you marry me." Yoon-seol heard him and asked, Yes, but what will you get?" Jun-young replied, "You said you only need the wife status. I also only need that." Yoon-seol noticed something and said, "Oh, don't tell me you came here for..." Jun-young replied, "Yes, I don't mind wasting my time going on a blind date like this. Especially later, if I marry, I have to care about their feelings. It will be very exhausting, unlike you, who only need a wife status. How about that?" Yoon-seol said, "I can't imagine us getting married, but..." Jun-young asked her, "If you decline my offer, you'll be wasting even more time, won't you?" She then asked him back, "Can I have some time to think?" And he replied, "Fine, I'll wait for you 3 days from now at 5 in the afternoon in the parking lot where we first met." Then he asked her, "If you don't show up at the designated time, that means you're rejecting my offer. How about that?" 3 days later, parking lot, Korea University. We see Jun-young waiting for Yoon-seol. As the time of wait was over, he opened his car's door thinking, "What am I expecting, huh?" But right then, Yoon-seol came running towards him while shouting, "Jun-young, wait a moment. Sorry, my class ended a bit late." Jun-young then said, "You're 10 minutes late." She replied, "And you waited for me for 10 minutes. Then she asked him, "If it's like this, I guess I'm not rejecting your offer, right? But I have one condition. I want this marriage to be kept secret, at least until I graduate. You're a popular professor on campus. It could be a disaster for me if the whole campus knows we're married. I still want to continue my studies." Jun-young shook her hand and said, "Very well. In that case, it's nice to work with you, Choi Yoon-seol." Then he hugged her, pulling her close in his arms. Yoon-seol got shy and shouted, "What's the matter with you?" "Don't just hug me like that," Jun-young asked her. "Aren't we a couple now? We should look like a couple, right?" After that, when Jun-young was having food with his family, he called his parents, "Father, Mother." His father asked, "What is it, Jun-young?" He replied, "I just want to let you know that I'm going to marry Choi Yoon-seol." His family got surprised and his brother said, "Huh? See, no wonder you look confused." His father then said, "You and Yoon-seol? Wow, father is so happy. You should have told us yesterday." Jun-young replied, "Sorry, Dad. Actually, Yoon-seol and I have been dating for a long time. We didn't know that you and her grandfather knew each other." His mother then asked him, "How long have you been in a relationship? Weren't you just teaching at her campus 2 weeks ago? Marriage cannot be decided hastily." Jun-young replied, "We've been dating since before I started teaching at her campus. I'm the one who never told Mom. That's why I don't like it when Mom forces me to get to know her friends' ladies. Mom, don't worry. For sure, I'm marrying Yoon-seol not out of gratitude to her family." His mother heard him and thought, Jun-young and love? Is what he feels really love? Then she asked him, Jun-young, how about you bring Yoon-sol here again? Mom wants to talk to her. Then we see Yoon-seol talking to Jun-young on the call and shouting, What? Tomorrow afternoon? What does your mom want to talk about? I thought nothing like this would happen. What if your mom gets suspicious? Jun-young said, Don't worry. Just answer as we planned. I'll wait at the usual place. Don't be late. After that, he hung up the call and Yoon-sol thought, This person is audacious. How can I be calm? The next day, at the Kang's house, she was sitting in front of Hye-suk, who asked her, How could Jun-young just leave you alone here? Then she told her, If Jun-young is angry, then yell at him, Yoon-sol. Yoon-sol kept quiet with a shy expression on her face, so Hye-suk served her a cake. Yoon-sol replied, Thank you. It's okay. Jun-young suddenly had an urgent matter, so I came here alone. Then, as she started eating the cake, Hye-suk said, Jun-young has already informed us that you two want to get married. Then she asked her, Yoon-sol, you're still in college. Is it okay to get married this soon? Yoon-sol replied, We agreed to keep our marriage a secret until I graduate, so it shouldn't disturb my studies. Hye-suk further asked her with an angry look, Where did you two first meet? Why didn't you let us know from the beginning that you two were dating? Yoon-sol panicked and said, Oh no, me and Jun-young are serious, but we're not like that. Hye-suk then said, I invited you here not because I hate you. I just want to ask a few things. Then she asked her, Do you really love Jun-young? Yoon-seol replied, Yes, I love him with all my heart, and gave a nice expression, thinking, I have to look convincing. Hye-suk further asked her, If that's the case, does Jun-young love you too? Right then Jun-young arrived. He hugged Yoon-seol from behind and said, Of course, Mom should be asking me that. Mom, I already told you, right? We love each other. Then he asked Yoon-seol, What should I do to convince Mom? Mom isn't asking anything strange about you, right, honey? Yoon-seol replied, Don't be like that. Your mom is just worried about you. Later on, while driving Yoon-seol back home, she asked Jun-young, Does it have to be like that for her to believe me? Jun-young asked her back, If not, how can my mom believe it? She heard him and replied, I think your mom started to believe it when she heard my answer. Jun-young then said, You should see for yourself how awkward your expression was when my mom asked about my feelings, especially when I hugged you. Someone doesn't only express their love through words, but also through body language. You should act more naturally. Yoon-seol angrily asked him, How can I not be awkward? We just met. Besides, you didn't tell me beforehand either. Then, as they reached home, she tried to get out of the car, saying, Thank you for driving me home. But Jun-young grabbed her hand and kissed her, saying, It seems like we need to practice. She asked, Practice? So he asked her back, So that we look like a couple in love, we have to practice every chance we get? She then pushed his hand back and said, Every chance? Ha ha, no need. I can do it. Jun-young added, Oh yeah? You look confused like this. Then he got close to her to kiss her, but she pushed him back saying, I already said there was no need. After that, she got out of the car and thought, why didn't I think there would be contact like this? Is it too late if I back out? As she was standing outside and thinking that, she received a call from her grandfather who asked her, Yoon-seol, is it true that you and Jun-young are getting married? Oh, Grandpa is so happy to hear this news. You should have told Grandpa from the beginning. He would have agreed right away. Ha ha ha, Yoon-seol, congratulations. Your grandpa won't worry about leaving you alone in Seoul anymore. Then she thanked them, and her Auntie Sungum and Uncle Gil were on the line as well. Her auntie asked her, Yoon-seol, how about having your wedding here at Gyeoje House? Auntie will take care of everything. The view here is very beautiful. Your wedding will surely be memorable. She replied, I'll try to tell Jun-young later, okay. Then she thought, Hey, it seems like it's too late to back out, huh? Then she got back inside Jun-young's car and told him, Well, let's practice then. She got close to him, and after realizing something, she asked him, Wait a minute, do we also have to practice kissing, huh? He then gripped her neck gently and kissed her while asking her back, What do you think? Then he told her, It's a wedding kiss. We're going to get married, so we should practice kissing for the wedding ceremony later, right? Next, in the university, after class, she went to Jun-young's car with him and said to him, We're keeping this wedding a secret from others, but can I tell one of my friends? I want someone to accompany me, especially during the wedding. It's okay, as long as they can keep the secret. Jun-young replied to her, "You're the one who knows everyone on campus." After getting back to her friends, she looked at them and thought, I don't know why, but I feel afraid to go through all of this alone. I need someone who can help me keep this wedding a secret and keep me sane. But who? It's not possible with Soojin. If she knows, it could turn into a drama series. There's Soojin, easily jealous and likes to indirectly belittle fans. Seokhyun knows equals the whole campus knows. Yoon Seokhyun is cheerful, very charming, and likes to flirt with some female students. As for Gyeong-eun, Gyeong-eun is sarcastic and not very close to others. Can they keep a secret? After that, she was walking with Gyeong, and Gyeong asked her, "Are we not going anywhere today? I'm going to the cafe in front of campus. Do you want to join?" She replied, "Yes." So Gyeong got surprised and said, "Wow, that's unusual. Usually you always go to the library." Yoon-sol replied, there's actually something I want to tell you." Gyeong asked her sarcastically, "Did you finally confess to your crush?" So Yoon-sol replied with a shy expression, yes." Gyeong got surprised and asked her, "Huh? Who?" Yoon-sol stopped her and told her, let's talk in a quieter place, shall we?" After that, in a corner, Gyeong desperately asked, "Who is it, Yoon-sol?" Yoon-sol replied, "But please don't shout, okay? I'm going to marry." Mr. Kang Jun-young Gyeong-eun heard that and said loudly, "I knew it. I suspected you two were dating." Yoon-sol told her, "There's something. Shh. Don't be loud, Gyeong-eun. Just for my grandfather's sake, Mr. Kang was the one who proposed this. Only you know about this wedding, so can you keep my marriage with Mr. Kang a secret?" Gyeong agreed and then hugged her, saying, "Congratulations, Yoon-sol. You finally found a way out for your problem." Then she asked her, "But what's the reason Mr. Kang is proposing this marriage? Does he know about your problem, or is there another intention?" Yoon-seol replied, "He said he didn't want to waste time dating to find a wife. He just needed the status, so it's kind of similar to my situation." Gyeong heard that and asked her, "Could it be that Mr. Jun-young saved you from the blind dates you told me about before? Wow, Mr. Kang seems like a white knight to you, huh?" Yoon-sol heard her and thought, who knows if he could be considered that way or not. Suddenly, Seokhyun jumped between them and said, "This handsome prince shouldn't be left behind." Then he asked them, "So where are we going now?" Yoon-sol replied, "Gyeong-eun and I are going to the cafe in front." Seokhyun then said, "Cafe? I won't be full if I go to a cafe. Let's just eat jjajangmyeon." Inside the cafe, we see Soojin approaching Jun-young and saying, "Mr. Jun-young, you should have said if you were coming here. I would have accompanied you and recommended the menu. You can ask me instead." Jun-young replied, "Okay, thank you." Right then, Seokhyun, Yoon-seol, and Gyeong walked inside, and Gyeong said to Seokhyun, "Yes, yes. After this, we'll eat jjajangmyeon, but I want to buy coffee first." Seokhyun saw Soojin and said, "Hi," to her. Then he walked forward, and upon seeing Jun-young, added, "Oh, Mr. Kang is here too. Mr. Kang knows me, right? I'm in Mr. Kang's class too." Jun-young replied, "Yes, you're Yoon Seokhyun, who often chats in class, right?" Seokhyun replied, "Ha ha, yes, sir." Then he added, "I'm really happy that a successful entrepreneur like you can teach in our class." Jun-young thanked him, saying, "Thank you. I hope you continue to stay focused in your studies." Seokhyun replied, "Yes, sir, I will." Then he asked Jun-young, "Oh, by the way, Yoon-sol, Gyeong-eun, and I are going to eat jjajangmyeon, sir. Would Mr. Kang and Soojin like to join?" Jun-young noticed Yoon-sol telling him to decline, but he agreed and said, "Okay, I'll join." After that, they went to eat jjajangmyeon, but Yoon-sol was feeling down and thinking, This feels weird." Seokhyun then told her, "Well, as usual, your favorite half-cooked egg, Yoon-sol." After that, he said to Jun-young, "Yoon-sol comes from Gyeoje Island. People there eat ganjajang with an egg on top, so Yoon-sol always eats it the same way." Jun-young replied, "Oh, I didn't know that." Yoon-sol heard this and thought, "Seokhyun, can you please be quiet?" Seokhyun further said, "I've tried it before. It's really good. Next time, Mr. Kang should try." Jun-young replied, "Well, it seems worth trying." Seokhyun then asked Soojin, "Soojin, are you sure you only want to order drinks?" Soojin replied, "No, it's fine. I already ate earlier." Then Jun-young asked Yoon-sol, "Oh, did you used to live in Gyeoje? When did you start moving to Seoul?" Seokhyun replied, "Yoon-sol moved to Seoul when she started college." Yoon-sol heard that and angrily thought, "This kid, he can't stay still, huh?" Seokhyun further added, "Before that, Yoon-sol lived in Gyeoje with her grandfather." Yoon-sol noticed Seokhyun ruining her food, so she angrily forwarded her bowl to him, shouting, "Hey, Yoon Seo-kyun, don't mix your food with my chopsticks. So gross. Here, eat all of mine." Sujin then teased them and asked, their bond is really cute. Could it be that you two are dating?" Seo-kyun gave an awkward look at that and replied, "Ahaha, no way. You know how close Yoon-sol and I are, right?" Jun-young added, "Me and Seo-kyun? Come on." Later on, Seo-kyun walked away saying, "I'm leaving now. There's still a club activity. Thank you, Mr. Kang, for treating us." Sujin also walked away after saying, "Me too. My car is already here." Jun-young waved his hand at them and said, "Take care, both of you." Gyeong noticed she should leave as well, so she said, Yoon-sol, it seems better if I go first." Jun-young grabbed Yoon-sol's purse, so she unwillingly said, "Bye," to Gyeong. Then Jun-young said to Yoon-sol, "Go home first. I'll follow you later. You should have told me if you have a boyfriend. It makes me feel uncomfortable." Yoon-sol angrily replied, "Seo-kyun isn't my boyfriend." Then she asked him, "Besides, why did you even agree to Seo-kyun's invitation?" Jun-young asked her back, "What's the matter? We did agree to keep our relationship secret on campus, but it doesn't mean we don't know each other, right? I'm just being natural in front of my students." After saying that, he walked forward and told her to come with him in the car. And she thought, I know this isn't a real wedding. But how could he be so calm during that conversation? "Hey, Choi Yoon-sol, what do I expect from someone like Kang Jun-young?" Then Jun-young grabbed her hand while telling her, "Hey, we should practice at every opportunity, right?" She agreed and continued her thoughts. Moreover, isn't this relationship supposed to be without feelings, right? If he can be so cold, I should also act the same way, right? I want a marriage like this. Then they reached the car, and while opening the door for Yoon Seol, Jun-young told her, "I notice you still look uncomfortable holding hands with me. You should be more skilled. You've kissed 108 times already." Yoon Seol said sorry to him and thought, I shouldn't complain or get angry. There's no harm in following what Kang Jun-young said. After that, they tried to hold each other's hand differently until it felt romantic for them, and Yoon Sol ended her conclusion thinking, yes, there's nothing wrong because it's all for Grandpa. Later, she was talking to Gyeong on text, and Gyeong asked her, "Yoon Sol, so you mean you're legally married but not really married?" She replied, "Something like that. We both just need the status." Gyeong asked her again, "Are you really sure?" Then she said, "I'm glad you found a way out of your problem, but I'm worried if bigger problems will arise." Yoon Sol asked her, "What do you mean, Gyeong-eun?" She replied, "I mean, your marriage is only based on mutual benefit, but does it mean you'll continue pretending to be husband and wife for the rest of your lives? Mr. Kang is a successful businessman. It's unlikely that he didn't consider all his steps. But what about you? Have you considered everything?" Yoon Seol read those texts and thought, to be honest, I can't see the fate of this marriage in the future. What if what Gyeong-eun said is true? What if I end up having to follow his decision later? The next day, when she got inside Jun-young's car, she gave him a letter. Jun-young asked her, "What is this?" She replied, "A letter of agreement. You take one. You're a business person. You should know that every business transaction needs a contract or letter like that, just like our marriage, to ensure that no party is at a disadvantage, right? Just read it first. Let's discuss it together." Jun-young started reading the agreement and said, "The first point, must maintain the confidentiality of this marriage. It might be better to add marital status to make it clearer. I have no problem with the first point, but if you tell one of your friends, I will also tell mine. Minjun. Secondly, behaving appropriately. Yeah, I'm fine with that too. If this point isn't supposed to be you who..." As he was about to speak further, she stopped him and said, Yes. Sorry, I overreacted yesterday." Jun-young then said, "The third point, about personal lives." Yoon Sol added, "Usually, a husband and wife's lives become one, right? But we're not really married, so I guess you don't need to worry about my personal life and my friends, and vice versa." Jun-young heard that and asked her, so that you can keep hanging out with your boyfriend Seo-kyun, huh?" She replied, "It's up to you." So Jun-young further asked her, "I disagree with point 4. How can our family trust us if they don't see us affectionately?" Yoon Sol replied, "But it doesn't have to be all the time. Just don't suddenly hug me again like yesterday. You have to let me know beforehand." Jun-young said, "It can't be like that. Sometimes we have to improvise." Yoon Sol said, "But we won't be meeting our families often, so we can plan ahead." Jun-young remembered something, so he told Yoon Sol, "Oh, it seems I forgot to tell you. After we get married, My mother wants us to live in my family's house until you graduate from university. That's one of the conditions from my mother for this marriage. Yoon-sol got angry and asked him, but why are you only telling me now? Jun-young replied, I did say earlier, and then he added, that's why I think points 4 and 5 should be removed. Yoon-sol said, if that's the case, then we'll... Jun-young further said, point 6, yeah, if your grandfather passes away, it means there's no longer any benefit for you. Yoon-sol noticed that Jun-young doesn't agree with point 5, so she shouted at him, huh? Wait, why is point 5 being removed? Jun-young replied, I think it's unnecessary. What do you think I would do? Aren't you actually the one who's afraid of getting carried away? Yoon-sol asked him, but isn't that normal for newlyweds? Jun-young asked her back with a cheeky smile. Well, what are you thinking, Choi Yoon-seol? She replied. Nothing. So Jun-young said, anyway, point 5 stays. Then she made some changes on the letter and added, I'll change point 4. Jun-young read the changes and asked her, not sleeping in the same bed? She replied, yes. Previously, we agreed that this marriage would be like a business, based solely on benefit, without emotions. Then she told him to sign on the paper, saying, once you're done, close your eyes. Jun-young asked her, for what? She got close to him to kiss him, but her hat budged on Jun-young's head. So she apologized to him, saying, sorry, I forgot to take off my hat. You're okay, right? I was just practicing for the wedding kiss. Jun-young set her hat and then kissed her, saying, wedding kiss. It's usually the groom who initiates it. After some days, Yoon-seol was getting tired due to the wedding preparations and wondering, the wedding day is getting closer, and preparing for the wedding event is not easy. Why is this all so complicated? All of this makes me realize, even though this wedding is not real, a marriage for only our benefit alone still doesn't change the fact that this marriage is real. But if this marriage is real, why am I not feeling happy? Why do I feel empty and lonely? In early May, on Gyeoje Island, Yoon-sol was helping her aunt with the preparations, but her aunt stopped her and told her, there's no need for you to do anything. You're getting married tomorrow. Yoon-sol replied to her, it's okay. I feel bad seeing auntie getting busy because of me. Then her auntie asked her, oh yes, where is Jun-young? Aunt thought he'd come here with you. Even until now your aunt hasn't met him. Aunt feels very sad. You should have made time to come here yesterday before the wedding. Right then, Yoon-seol heard Jun-young's voice calling her name. As he walked close to her from behind, he said, I'm sorry I came without informing you. Yoon-sol's auntie looked back and asked, Jun-young? Oh? You must be Kang Jun-young, right? Yoon-sol introduced Jun-young to her aunt, saying, Jun-young, this is Aunt Sungum, who has taken care of me since I was little. Jun-young then looked at Sungum and said, nice to meet you. I'm Kang Jun-young. Then he apologized to her and said, I'm sorry, Auntie. I could only come now. Auntie replied, it's okay. The important thing is that you're here now. Come. Later on, as they were all having food, Yoon-sol's grandfather asked Jun-young, Jun-young, have you ever had bibimbap? Jun-young replied, not yet. Wow, I'm so lucky I can try it today. Thank you. The old man heard him and said, that's great. If you feel like you need more, just let me know. Sungum has cooked a lot. Ha ha ha. Sungum then said to Yoon-sol, Yoon-sol, let's eat your body looks like just bones. What if you faint tomorrow? Yoon-sol asked her. But if I get fat, my clothes won't fit tomorrow. What then? Auntie replied, eating bibimbap won't make you fat overnight. Jun-young intervened and said, don't worry, Aunt. Don't worry. After we get married, I'll always make sure Yoon-sol eats a lot of delicious food. Yoon-sol also said, see, Aunt, so just relax. Auntie calmed down and said, all right, if Jun-young says so, Aunt can relax then. It's not wrong if Yoon-sol says she fell in love at first sight. Jun-young heard her and asked, oh, really? Yoon-sol never told me that. The old man then put his hand on Jun-young's shoulder and told him, Yoon-sol is indeed like that. She doesn't always say what she feels, but she will love you wholeheartedly. Yoon-seol was getting shy, so she told the old man to not overdo it. The old man said, okay, let's eat first. So Jun-young added, yes, thank you, Grandpa. Actually, I've been looking forward to trying Myeongga bibimbap since earlier. Later on, after the dinner, Auntie told Yoon-seol, Yoon-seol, are you done? Auntie will go down to the room first, okay? Don't take too long to tidy up. It's already late. Yoon-seol replied, yes, Aunt. Just a moment more. You go first. Right at that moment, Jun-young walked inside the room, and Auntie told him, "Oh, Jun-young, wait a moment. The room is still being tidied up. And you don't stay up too late, Jun-young." Jun-young replied, "Yes, Aunt. Thank you." Auntie left the room. So Jun-young walked forward with his luggage and asked Yoon-seol, "Is this your room?" Yoon-seol replied, Yes. You'll sleep here later. I'll sleep in Aunt Sungam's room. Ah, sorry, if the room is not comfortable, maybe I'll come back tomorrow morning." Jun-young replied, "This is fine, really." Wait, Yoon-seol then asked him, "Why didn't you say you were coming today? I could have prepared a more comfortable room for you." Jun-young then kissed her and said, "Because my future wife didn't contact me a day before the wedding. What else could I do besides coming to her, right?" Yoon-seol thanked him for coming, and in return he replied, "Good night to my bride." Next day, we see Min-jun surprised and asking Jun-young, "Jun-young, your wedding is today. How could you tell me and ask me to lead your wedding last night?" Jun-young replied, "The fact that you're here proves it, Min-jun." Min-jun further asked him, "I didn't expect you to get married so soon. It wasn't long ago that you dumped the blind date your mother set up for you." "Who is this woman?" Jun-young replied, "It's definitely not the girl I met on the blind date yesterday," Min-jun asked. "Eh? Then who?" Soon after, we saw them both entering Yoon-seol's room, but Ga-young tried to stop them, saying, "Ah, Mr. Kang, sorry, but Yoon-seol isn't ready yet." Jun-young forced his way inside, saying, "I'll be right back after I talk to Yoon-seol for a bit," and Jun-young then looked at his bride and got shy. Then he introduced Min-jun to her, saying, "Yoon-seol, let me introduce my friend and business partner, Kim Min-jun. Min-jun will be the MC at our event." Yoon-seol greeted him, saying, "Nice to meet you. I'm Choi Yoon-seol. Thank you for agreeing to be the MC for our event." Then Jun-young introduced Ga-young to him, and this is Yoon-seol's friend, Cha Kyung-ain. Min-jun, after meeting with both of them, said, "Nice to meet you all. Wow, I finally met the future wife of Kang Jun-young." After that, Jun-young said to him, "As I explained earlier, Min-jun, this wedding is kept secret, so no one from the office should know." Min-jun replied, "Okay." Then Min-jun left the room, saying, "In that case, let's talk later. I'll head out first for practice." Ga-young as well walked out, saying, "Nip! Me too. Aunt Sungam asked for my help earlier. You guys relax, get yourselves organized, and don't forget to smile." Yoon-seol asked Jun-young, "Is our face showing that we're really nervous?" Jun-young asked her back, "I'm not. Are you nervous?" She replied, "Of course. I'm afraid our drama will be exposed, and it will make my grandpa sad. No wonder some engaged couples run away. This is how it feels." Jun-young then got close to her and said, "Do we need to practice our kiss like Min-jun said?" "Alls. But that means you'll have to redo your makeup." Yoon-seol felt shy, so she pushed him back and shouted, "Calm down. I'm not." "Why are you only thinking about kissing, huh? Such a pervert." Jun-young then walked out of the room saying, "Now you're not nervous, right? Wait." Later on, Yoon-seol's grandfather walked her to the wedding altar and gave Yoon-seol's hand into Jun-young's hand. Min-jun announced, "Ah, it's so touching." Grandpa joins their hands as a symbol of entrusting his beloved granddaughter to the man she loves. The ceremony will continue with the exchange of rings. Now is the time to make eternal vows. A kiss to seal the wedding vows to love each other until the end of time. Jun-young grabbed Yoon-seol's hands and whispered to her, "Now is the time to show off like we practiced. Smile, your expression is too stiff." She heard him and whispered back, "Like we practiced. We didn't practice in front of other people." Jun-young then told her to close her eyes and kissed her passionately. Later on at night, Jun-young's father told Yoon-seol, "Yoon-seol, from now on, just call us father and mother, okay?" "Ha ha ha ha." Jun-young's mother intervened and said, "That's enough. Let's continue tomorrow. They must be very tired today." Taejin heard her and wished good night to his children. "Oh, right. Good night then." Yoon-seol replied, "Thank you for the room. And for today, father and mother. Good night." After that, inside the room, Jun-young asked Yoon-seol, "Should you take a bath first? Or should I go first?" Yoon-seol replied, "You go first. I'll tidy up my things first." Jun-young said, "Okay, if that's the case." Then, while looking around, Yoon-seol thought, "This means starting tonight. This room is ours together. A large bed that's plenty big enough for both of us. Our clothes are arranged next together. The same goes for the other things. Makes this marriage feel even more real, especially Jun-young's presence. Right at the moment, Jun-young walked out of the shower and said, "I'm finished. You can take a bath now." Then he asked her, "Have you finished tidying up your things?" She replied, "Turns out most of it was already tidied up by your mother." Jun-young said, "Oh yes, that's right. Mom must have hired someone to organize it." "Oh," Yoon-sol looked at Jun-young and added, "I just realized you're wearing pajamas from Aunt Soon-jum." Aunt Soon-gum insisted on preparing matching pajamas. The model she chose initially was too childish. She said it's trendy, but As she said that, she opened a gift given to her by Ga-yong. As soon as she saw what was inside, she got startled and closed the box immediately. Jun-young noticed her and asked, "What's that?" She replied, "Oh, it's nothing. Just a gift from Gyong." Jun-young further asked, "Oh, really? For both of us? What's inside?" Jun-young tried to see the gift box, but Yoon-sol wasn't ready for it. So the box fell down and opened up. Inside of it, lingerie was placed. Both Jun-young and Yoon-seol got shy. Yoon-seol then shouted, "I didn't ask for this." Jun-young replied, "I didn't say anything," then asked, "Oh, you must be nervous, right? What are you thinking?" Choi Yoon-seol. She looked at him cheekily and asked back, "Who's nervous? It's my first time sharing a room with a man. I'm just being cautious. You're probably the one nervous. If you imitate me, you'll end up doing something clumsy, right?" Jun-young got close to her and gently said, "Just do it. We're already husband and wife. We can do it any time." She asked him, "What?" So Jun-young kissed her on her lips. After a full-fledged kiss, he stopped and told her, "Wait a moment. My family is downstairs. It's better not to go beyond this." Yoon-seol asked him, No, who said anything about going beyond this? Besides, it's written in the contract that we don't sleep in the same bed." Jun-young ignored her words and added, "Well, it seems like we'll have to be patient until our honeymoon, right, Yoon-seol?" Yoon-seol heard him and asked herself, does this person even listen? After that, when Jun-young was working, sitting on the sofa, Yoon-seol looked at him and thought, "It feels like lying if I say I'm not worried about sharing a room with Jun-young on a night that usually becomes the newlyweds' first night. Especially after what he's done so far. Calm down, Choi Yoon-seol. Just consider him as a roommate. According to the agreement, he won't do anything to me. So there won't be anything, right, Enks?" After some time, Jun-young asked Yoon-seol, "Yoon-seol, if you want to turn off the light, it's okay." She didn't reply, so he looked at her and saw that she had already fallen asleep. He then helped her lay straight on the bed. Later on in the morning, when Yoon-seol woke up, she saw the alarm and, after looking around the room and not seeing Jun-young, she thought, "Since when did I fall asleep? Jun-young isn't on the sofa. He's not on the bed either. Then where's Jun-young?" Then, as she went down to the kitchen, a maid was there, and she greeted her. "Good morning, miss." "Mrs." Hae-suk usually leaves her room at 6:30. Maybe in a moment she'll be here. Miss can wait in the living room. Then, on the dining table, she met Taejin and Hee-suk. Hee-suk saw her and said, "Oh, Yoon-seol, you're awake?" Yoon-seol then greeted them both, saying, "Good morning, father, mother. Did you sleep well last night?" Taejin replied, "Good morning, Yoon-seol. We slept very well, ha ha ha." Then he asked, "How about you?" She replied, "I slept very well too, thanks to the comfortable bed." Hee-suk noticed Jun-young was not with her, so she asked Yoon-seol, "Oh, you're alone? Where's Jun-young?" Jun-young arrived there drenched in sweat after jogging and said, "I'm here." Hye-suk saw him and asked, "Oh my goodness, Jun-young. You're still exercising even on a day like this? You should be accompanying your wife on her first day in this house." Jun-young replied, "Yes, sorry, Mom." His mother smelled sweat from him, so she told him, "All right, go and shower quickly, then come back down again." After that, Hae-suk said to Yoon-seol, "Yoon-seol, I didn't expect you to perform the greeting tradition like earlier." Yoon-seol replied, "Yes, my Aunt Sungum told me about it." Hye-suk said, "Sungum, she's raised you well." Usually, every morning the servants here would only assist in preparing the ingredients, as much as possible. I will still cook, and usually by 7 o'clock, we're already having breakfast. But since you still have to attend classes, you don't need to help me cook. Yoon-seol heard her and said, "Thank you, Mom, but I will still help as much as I can." Soon after, As Jun-young was done with breakfast, he stood up and said, "Thank you for breakfast. I'm off to work first." Taejin told him, "Take care on the road, Jun-young." He then hugged Yoon-seol and told her, "You continue with your breakfast. I'll be going now, dear." Yoon-seol stood up with him and walked out beside him saying, "No, it's fine. I'll walk you to the front." Outside, Jun-young said to Yoon-seol, "Wow, your acting is getting better, Yoon-seol. It looks natural, even if you want to walk me to work. Or are you starting to enjoy your new status?" Yoon-seol replied, "Not really, I just want to make sure." Then she asked, "Did you sleep on the sofa last night?" Jun-young replied, "Yes, now my neck and body are all sore." Then he asked her back, "Do you think your husband is as filthy as a germ that you won't even sleep with me? You're so stubborn, Choi Yoon-seol." Yoon-seol felt a little embarrassed and said, "Just a moment. Isn't that the agreement anyway?" Later, while traveling to university, sitting in the bus, she pondered, what does he mean by saying that? Does he want to make me feel uncomfortable and finally allow him? I don't know if this is appropriate to complain about, but it's only the first day, and it's already like this. I didn't think becoming the wife of Kang Jun-young would be harder than I imagined. His attitude is unpredictable, and he acts on his own. It truly makes me confused about how to behave. Kang Jun-young, but can't you act in a way that facilitates this business marriage? Then she saw her wedding ring and thought, "Oh yes, I almost forgot that I'm wearing the wedding ring." Soon after, at a jewelry shop, the shopgirl made her wear several rings on her hand and asked her, one thick ring on the index finger, two thin rings, and a gemstone ring on the middle finger, then a ribbon-shaped ring for the pinky finger. "How is it? Beautiful, right?" Yoon-seol replied, "There are lots of them. So beautiful." The shopgirl said, "Even the ring you're wearing is a branded couple ring. It's a shame if it's not visible." Yoon-seol added, "Oh, really? I just want to have another ring that matches well with this one." Ha 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 ha. "Okay, I'll take these 5 rings then." The shopgirl replied, "All right, thank you." On the other side, at the university, Seo-kyun was getting worked up and asking Gi-young, "You really haven't seen Yoon-seol since earlier, Kyungjin?" Kyung replied, "Yes. How many times have you asked that, Seo-kyun?" Then she asked, "Can't you calm down a bit?" Yoon-seol arrived in class barely on time and sighed. "Phew, thank goodness, I thought I was late." Seo-kyun then called her to his table and told her, "Luckily, I've already secured a seat for you beside me." Yoon-seol thanked him. "Thank you, Seo-kyun." Kyung then added, "Finally, you're here. I'm tired of being asked by Seo-kyun all the time." Seo-kyun then asked Yoon-seol, "Where were you, Seol? You're almost late, which is unusual for you. You also look really tired. Are you okay?" Yoon-seol replied, Oh, yes? I'm fine, really. Maybe because I moved houses, that's why." Kyung said, Oh, you mentioned that before." Seo-kyun asked her, "Huh? I just found out. Where to?" She replied, "It's a bit far, about 40 minutes away." Seo-kyun further asked her, "Then why did you move? Wasn't your previous place really close to campus?" Yoon-seol replied, It seems like grandfather was worried about his grandchild living alone." Kyung-gun added, "So now Yoon-seol is staying with grandfather's relative." Yoon-seol then said, "Yes, that's right. You know I'm his only grandchild." Seo-kyun saw the rings on Yoon-seol's hand and asked her, "Yoon-seol, since when have you been wearing a ring?" Yoon-seol heard him and thought, "Oh, it wouldn't be funny if it was discovered on the first day." Seo-kyun further added, "Well, Choi Yoon-seol. So you're following the trend too, huh?" Yoon-seol replied, Oh, yeah, sure. Is it not allowed?" Seo-kyun replied, "Sure, it's fine. Good, good." Right then, Jun-young entered the class saying, "Good afternoon," and got upset seeing Seo-kyun holding Yoon-seol's hand. Later at night, when Jun-young went back home, Yoon-seol asked him, "Do you always come home this late?" Jun-young looked at her and said, "Oh, Yoon-seol, I thought you were already asleep." Yoon-seol replied, "Not yet. I still have some assignments to work on." Jun-young then asked her, "Why don't you study in the study room? Isn't there a desk there? Are you waiting for me to come home?" She replied, "Don't get a big head. I already told you I'm studying." He further asked, "Do you always study until this late?" She said, "Not always." Jun-young then added, "That's why. Tomorrow you don't need to wait for me. Just go to sleep." She said, "I'm not waiting for you to come home." So Jun-young added, Fine. Maybe you're studying, but it doesn't have to be this late. At this moment, Yoon got a call from Seo-kyun. She saw it and hung it, thinking, why is this idiot contacting me in the middle of the night? Jun-young looked at her and asked her, why didn't you pick it up? She replied, I don't recognize the number. It's probably a prank call. Jun-young asked her, don't do that. Just pick up if someone contacts you tonight. Usually it's an emergency, right? She replied, yes. Then she picked up the call, and Seo-kyun asked her, hello, Choi Yoon-seol. Why have you been ignoring my calls lately? Yoon-seol replied, do you even know what time it is? Just be careful if you ignore important matters. Seo-kyun said, don't be like that, Yoon-seol. I just want to chat. I finally went to the club again with my friends. Yoon-seol replied, I'll hang up if you're just going to talk like that. I can't take your calls now. I moved, remember? Seo-kyun asked her, oh? Is there someone next to you? You're sharing a room with someone else, right? She replied, yes, I have a roommate. Then she hung up the call saying, so don't call me randomly at night again, okay? Bye. Jun-young was hearing her conversation, so he asked her, about the roommate thing. Did you mean me? She replied, well, more or less like that. Jun-young got upset and said, good night. Then, as they were about to sleep, Yoon-seol wondered, Jun-young really wakes up early every morning, right? And always comes home late at night. Is it okay for Jun-young to sleep on that couch? Jun-young, on the other hand, thought, every night for the past few days, I did ask you not to wait for me. But when your roommate wasn't around, were you talking to Seo-kyun until you fell asleep? Later at night, Yoon-seol saw Jun-young on top of her as she was sleeping. So Jun-young told her, oh, this isn't what you think. I was just moving your phone. She replied, I wasn't thinking anything either. Was actually about to say something. What if you don't sleep on the couch? After thinking about it again, it seems a bit inconsiderate to let you sleep on the sofa. Initially, I thought a separate bed would be provided as well. That's why I made a point not to sleep in the same bed. It can't be that I'm the only one who keeps sleeping in the bed during this contract marriage, right? Thanks for watching today's video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you want to see more amazing recaps like this. See you later.